Not every vintage stitch needs a glow up. Some were perfect from the very start. This little flower is one of them. It's simple, elegant, and fits anywhere. As a motif center, a hair clip, or the heart of your next granny square. Hey crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion, and today we're reviving a vintage pattern that didn't need reinventing. Just a little refinement. I'll show you how to make the classic 3-layer flower, but we're ditching the chain 2 start for a stacking stitch instead, because it gives that center a cleaner, more polished finish. Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite flowers, but we're going to start with what you're actually going to use for this project. You can do either the fine thread like this. It's the size 10, and I would recommend using a size 6 or size 7 hook. Or you can use the worsted weight. I'm using the I Love This yarn as a demonstration, and of course you're going to need the appropriate size hook for this. So I'm using a 5mm hook. If you're using the thread, you would, like I said, go with a size 6 or a size 7 hook, and then your scissors and your tapestry needles. This is what the yarn size, the wasted yarn, the flower for that looks like. It's so cute, right? You could probably use this for a coaster even. Okay, let's get right into it. So this particular one, we are not going to be using a magic circle, as I do like as if I'm going to do a magic circle as habit. But no, we are not going to be doing a magic circle for this particular pattern. Well, I seem to be struggling with making a simple slip knot. Now, you can do a chain of 12, or if you like your circle a little bit tighter, not as big as this, I would go with a chain of 10. So I'm going to do my chain of 10 because I did this one with a chain of 12, and I'm going to do a chain of 10 so you can see the difference between the two. Okay, I've got my chain of 10. You got your chain of 10? Okay, let's go. All right, so we're going to join our chain by doing a slip stitch in that very, very first chain that we did. You'll know it because it's got that knot on the end. We're just going to do a real quick slip stitch right through that. And we're going to go straight into the stacking stitch. So we're going to do a chain of 1. We're going to do a single crochet in that center. I'm going to kind of snug it up just a tiny bit, not too much. And then in that vertical bar right here, this vertical bar right here, we're going to insert our hook right in there and do another single crochet. Just like that. That is going to count as your first half double crochet. Let me back out again. And then we're going to continue on by doing 23 half double crochets. So if you don't remember how to do that, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into our circle, yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so that is our first half double crochet. So basically with that first stacking stitch, you're going to have a total of 24 stitches in that circle. Okay, so I'm going to finish up my 24 stitches and I'll see you at the end. Okay, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but I crochet over my tail because once I'm done getting all 24 stitches on that, I go ahead and snip that. To finish off our row, we're going to insert our hook on top of that stacking stitch and just do a slip stitch. right there. Okay, so the next row, this is what we do to set up your foundation. And one quick tip, just to keep your tension, make sure that you're keeping your tension relaxed, because this is your anchor. This was your anchor round for the petals to come. So all of your petals basically get anchored to this eventually, kind of, sort of. All right, so now you can do just go straight into a round 2 and the chain. Just start doing the chain of 5, but I like to have a little bit of an anchor for my next rows to come. Okay, and you'll see what I mean once we get there. But to anchor that, I'm actually going to do a chain of 1, and I'm going to single crochet in that stacking stitch. Then I'm going to do a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip the first 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch. You can do a slip stitch, but I prefer to do a single crochet because I find that it gives it a little bit more structure. Then we're going to just keep doing that. Chain 5, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Go into that 4th stitch and do a single crochet. We're just going to keep doing that until we get to the end of our row. Okay, we are on the last. We're going to skip those last 3 stitches and we're going to slip stitch in that first single crochet that we made. Now we are getting ready to go into round 3. Okay, round 3. We're going to do a chain 1 and a single crochet, 2 double crochets. Oh, and if you don't remember how to do a double crochet, we're going to do one together. So it's a yarn over, insert a hook into that first loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do that again. You're going to do 2 double crochets, and in that same space we're going to do 6 treble crochets. And I'm going to do the first one with you so that you can refresh your memory how to do a double crochet or treble crochet. Treble crochet. Okay, so we're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into that loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to do a total of 6 treble crochets in that same space. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to do 2 more double crochets in that same space. And 1 more single crochet in that same space. So are you seeing a theme yet? We're going to do 1 more together. So in the next space, we're going to do a single crochet. Well, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and 6 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more double crochets, and 1 single crochet. So let's take a look at that. So you're going to do 1 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 6 treble crochets, 2 doubles, 1 single. That combination creates that curvature for the petal itself. And as you can see, it's naturally creating that curve upward, and that's exactly what you want. I'm going to go ahead and finish. You're going to do that for the remainder of the 4 petals, and I will see you back here at the end of the row. Okay, so I've got almost the last one, so I'm going to go ahead and do a slip stitch in that very first single crochet that I did at the very beginning here. Now, I wanted to mention real quick, so let's say you got interrupted and you're like, shoot, I can't remember how many I counted. So I usually go back to the very beginning of it, and well, let's start with this one. So obviously this one is your single crochet, then your 2 doubles, then you're going to count 6 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, another 2 doubles, and then a single crochet. So that's how you kind of can double check your work to make sure that you've got the right count on every single one. And sometimes you do notice when the count is just kind of wrong. So all right, so now we're going to set up our loops for our next 6 petals. So this is going to be a little bit trickier, so I'm going to go a little bit closer so you can see where we're going. So we're actually going to be doing a single crochet in this stitch right here, but we're going to go back behind the flower. Okay, so I've already done my little slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 just to kind of give myself a little bit more leeway. Now I'm going to pull my petal to the back. Now this is up to you whether you want to go in the stitch itself, just like this, or if you just want to wrap it around the actual single crochet. So I like to wrap mine around. That's just kind of me. So once I do that, you can do a slip stitch, but once again, I prefer the single crochet. So I set it up for a single crochet. That way I have something to secure it at the end when I do my slip stitch. So from there, we're going to do a chain of 6. Okay, so this is the next row. So the first row we did chain of 5. Now we're going to do a chain of 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go to the next single crochet on that, what was it, round 2. I'm going to do mine around. You can secure it just by putting it into those back stitches like that. It's completely up to you. I like to go around. So I'm going to go around and do a single crochet. Once again, you can do a slip stitch. I prefer the single crochet. And then we're going to do a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and go to the next petal, the next single crochet right here. We're going to go to the back of the petal, grab that, pull it through, and finish the single crochet, or you could do the slip stitch. We're going to continue doing that until we get to the end of our round, and you're going to have 6 chain 6 spaces. Okay, so I'm going to take it to the back so you can kind of see where this is at. So there's your 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain spaces. We're going to finish that up by putting a slip stitch in that first single crochet that I created, or the slip stitch if that's what you prefer. Now we're going to be doing something very similar to what we did with this first petal. The only difference is we are going to add an extra treble. So we're going to do a chain of 1, single crochet, 2 double crochets, and then 7 trebles in that same space, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and 1 single crochet. You're going to keep doing that in every single petal. So it's 1 single crochet, 2 double crochets, 7 double treble crochets, back to 2 double crochets, and 1 single crochet in each and every single one of those chain spaces that we created, okay? I will meet you at the end. Okay, we got to the other round, so we're just going to do a slip stitch in that first single crochet. And then we're going to go right into round 6. But first, I have a question for y'all. If you were turning this into a motif, would you build it into a lacy square or go full solid granny style? I'm kind of torn myself, and I might let y'all decide which one becomes a future tutorial. Let me know in the comments what you think. All right, round 6. So round 6 is very similar to round 4. The only difference is that we are going to be crocheting a chain of 7 instead of 6. And then we are going to be doing that slip stitch, or in my case, I do the single crochet in and around the row 4's single crochet. So we're going to take that. We just did a chain of 1. I'm going to go back behind. So it's this stitch right here. We're going to go back behind there, scoop up that. And you can do it in the stitch itself too, but I like to go around the post. So I'm going to pull up that loop, and I'm going to do a single crochet just for more security. Then we do that chain of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to the next single crochet that we had. Go around that post in my case, or you can go directly into the stitch itself, just like that. But I'm going to go around because that's my preference, and you can do that slip stitch, but I prefer the single crochet. You do what makes you feel better. We're going to do a chain of 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to keep going that way until we get to the end of our round. End of our row. So we're going to do that slip stitch in that first single crochet, and we're going to go right into round 7. Round 7, the final round. So round 7 is exactly like round 5. So we're just going to do a chain of 1, single crochet in that loop, 2 double crochets. There's 2, and 7 treble crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, or was that 3? I lost count already. Where's 1 single crochet, 2 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I was right. Okay. And there's 5, 6, and 7. 2 double crochets, and 1 single crochet. And we continue doing that same exact thing in each and every one of those chain spaces until we get to the end of our row. And I have one last thing to show you, and that's how to set it up so that you can do other things if you want to do like a motif or a granny square. I'll show you how to set that up. That's our last thing that we're going to do before I leave you. Okay, here we go. All right, so the last the last slip stitch, we're going into that single crochet, doing a slip stitch. Now, this is where you have to decide what you want to do with the flower. Do you want to leave it by itself as its own little centerpiece, or do you want to create something, a bigger motif out of this? So what I would recommend doing, if you're going to use a different color, well, if you're using the same color, then just keep going as you and I did with these flowers. If you want to change colors, I would just take that and put that color in this stitch right here. Okay, so this would be row 6. Okay, so you're going to put your color through here and do however many loops that you want to. Connect it here, 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 and that's how you would expand on the flower, of creating a different kind of style, texture, motif, that kind of thing. So now if you are wanting to do a granny square, this one's going to be a little bit different with a granny square. So what I would recommend, in the very first row, you will want to add an extra 6 of those half double crochets to the center of this, because for granny squares, the best numbers that you want to deal with numbers of 4 and 8. So if you do 8, then you can make it up so that you have a perfect granny square that would it would go into that granny square itself. So all right, one more thing. I wanted to kind of look at these and compare. There's really not much of a difference between doing the 12 single crochets at the very, or this 12 chains at the very beginning versus the 10. It does look like it is a smaller hole, not by much, but it is a little bit smaller hole. That way, kind of, yeah, slightly smaller hole. It didn't create a smaller flower though, as you can see. It did not create a smaller flower. And then all you have is this one strand to weave in. Isn't that awesome? Unless you change colors. You can change colors in between. So this flower works as a centerpiece for almost any motif, or even adapted into a granny square, just like what I just showed you. Try mixing thread colors for that old school Victorian flair. It's stunning in 2 tones. So you could create 2 tones, or you can even do a variegated flower or variegated color. That would be awesome with this as well. I do hope you loved bringing this timeless beauty to life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tag me at MoStitching when you post your final flowers. I love seeing how creative you guys get with these classics. Until next time, may your yarn behave, your petals stay perky, and your hooks never hide.